Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum class. Today we are going to discuss the oxidation of odd chain and branch chain fatty acid. In last lecture we have discussed the oxidation of beta oxidation of even chain fatty acid. Today our topic of discussion will be the odd chain oxidation and branch chain oxidation of fatty acids as well. The beta oxidation of saturated fatty acid containing odd number of carbon atoms proceed in the same manner as for even number fatty acids. Like steps involve the activation of the fatty acids in the cytosol, then is the transfer of acyl CoA from cytosol to the mitochondria by the Carnot shuttle, and lastly the proper beta oxidation of the fatty acid inside the mitochondrial matrix. But the only difference lies in the last or the very final step of the beta oxidation, because in the beta oxidation of even number fatty acids, the end product were acyl CoA and acetyl CoA, and this acyl CoA, which was 2 carbon less than the starting fatty acid, go on oxidizing until or unless there is production of acetyl CoA, which goes in the citric acid cycle to give ADPs. But instead of 2 carbon containing acetyl CoA, there is formation of 3 carbon containing fragment or functionality, which is left behind in case of beta oxidation of odd number fatty acid. And this compound is called propanol CoA, which is converted into succinyl CoA. And succinyl CoA, can also enter the citric acid cycle at some stage. Propanol CoA is carboxylated in the first step. Like here is propanol CoA. Instead of acetyl CoA, it contains 1 carbon more, and carbon dioxide is made the part of propanol CoA. It means that 1 carbon containing more fragment is formed. A new fragment is generated which has 1 carbon more than the propanol CoA. This reaction is catalyzed by the presence of ADP and vitamin biotin to give the D-methyl malonyl CoA. Therefore, this carbon unit in the form of carbon dioxide is incorporated at this carbon to make it chiral. Due to the chiral functionality or the chirality and the origination of stereochemistry, it's the D-methyl malonyl CoA. Why it's called malonyl CoA? Because its structure is just like the malonic acid. You can compare with the malonic acid while starting from here. It's S-CoA, then this carbonyl functionality, then this active methylene group. But at this active methylene group, the functionality is replaced by the asymmetric carbon having hydrogen, methyl group, and carbonyl. And at this carbon, there is presence of hydrogen, methyl, and again this carbonyl functionality just like the malonyl CoA. Therefore, the name is derived as D-methyl malonyl CoA, and vitamin biotin is involved in this step. Next, D-methylmalonyl CoA converts into its L form, which is called L-methylmalonyl CoA. In this carbonyl functionality is present on the left side of asymmetric carbon, and enzyme is racemase. Racemase enzymes are in fact catalyze the stereochemical inversion of configuration. Like there is inversion of configuration from D to L form, and this inversion of configuration occurs around the asymmetric carbon. And in this case of the enzymology, or you can say biochemistry, these molecules will behave as the substrate. Unless or until this methylmalonyl CoA converts the D-methylmalonyl CoA into L-methylmalonyl CoA, its further formation into the upcoming reaction will not occur. Therefore, this inversion of configuration is very necessary at this step for the further metabolic reaction which are going to place in the body. And if there is deficiency of B12, then there is methyl malonic acid accumulation in the body. There are many reactions which are catalyzed by the vitamin B12, and this vitamin B12 is present in the intestine. They are also produced by the bacterial cells, and also from many animal origin, the food which we take, and the food is from the animal origin, then we will take the vitamin B12 in this way. When L-methylmalonyl CoA is formed, there is role of methylmalonyl CoA mutase enzyme. Mutase enzyme is also called the conversion of methyl CoA into the succinyl CoA. In fact, in this case, only one functional group, which is the carboxylic acid group, moves from this asymmetric carbon to the terminal one, to the first carbon, to the ended carbon. Therefore, this succinyl CoA can enters into the tricarboxylic acid cycle or the citric acid cycle to generate the energy. And again, the enzyme is mutase, and mutase enzyme also cause the you can say transfer of the functional group from one part of the molecule to the another part. Here is the overall process of beta oxidation, which is the first step, which is the last step for the you can say the odd number containing fatty acids. After the propanoyl CoA functionality, the first was the carboxylation, and second was the inversion of the configuration, and lastly was the transfer of the functional group, which was the carboxylic acid, from the asymmetric carbon to the terminal carbon. In order to this succinyl CoA must enter the tricarboxylic acid cycle and give energy in the form of the ADPs. Here is methyl malonic acidemia, and two types of methyl malonic acidemia, which is due to the increased excretion of organic acid in the urine. It means that organic acids are going to be released in the urine. They are regarded as the acidemias. It means that the increased acidity or the low pH of the urine, and it's due to the deficiency of vitamin B12. And this vitamin B12 is the water soluble vitamin which is involved in the metabolism of every cell of the human body, and it's in fact the cofactor in DNA synthesis, and also for the fatty acid and amino acid metabolism. This vitamin B12 is very essential. And due to some defects in the enzyme methylmalonyl CoA mutase, this acidemia occurs. In either case, there is accumulation of malonic acid in the body, and later on followed by its increased excretion in the urine. And this causes severe metabolic acidosis, and it can damage the central nervous system and retard the growth of the individual. And even if the mm, the individual is at the growth period, if the early periods of life, like uh, for the children or for the grooming kids, 12, 13 years age, this acidosis is very, uh, you can say, the defective one, and it causes many impairments in the growth of the body, and it's often fatal in the early years of age, and up to 4 or 5 years. This accumulation of the acid in the body, and later on the excretion of this organic acid in the urine in a very huge amount. Next is the oxidation of unsaturated fatty acid. Up till now, we have discussed the oxidation of fatty acids, which contains the even number carbon and which contains the odd number carbons. And what about the oxidation of the fatty acids, which contains some unsaturation in the form of double bond? And the first one is due to the presence of double bond, like double bond in the oleic acid. The unsaturated fatty acids are not reduced to the same extent as that for the saturated fatty acids one, and therefore oxidation of unsaturated fatty acids, it generally provide less energy to the body, as it's not completely oxidized by the body. And most of the reaction which is involved in the oxidation of the unsaturated fatty acids are same as though that found in the beta oxidation of the saturated fatty acids one. However, this presence of the double bond, it definitely impairs certain defects and also poses many problems in the further upgoing reactions of the beta oxidation. And therefore, it is overcome by the natural enzyme system. Naturally, Allah has gifted us with the enzyme system in the form of the isomerase and the epimerase enzyme to cause the beta oxidation of the unsaturated fatty acids. And beta oxidation of fatty acids occurs in the peroxisomes. And peroxisomes, these are the small organelles which are present in the most eukaryotic cells. And inside the cytoplasm, they are present, and they are very important for fatty acids, their digestion, their accumulation, and for their oxidation. And it occurs in the in very different form in the modified form of the peroxicams, peroxisomes. And the acyl CoA dehydrogenase, which is a flavoenzyme, it lead to the formation of FADH2 as in the beta oxidation. But the reducing equivalents, that FADH2, according to the last beta oxidation which we have discussed, it must be transferred to the electron transport chain, and gives the FAD gives the 2 ATPs, whereas NAD gives the 3 ATPs. Therefore, this FADH2, which is in the reduced form, it must be oxidized and gives the ADP. But in here, this reduced form is given handed over to the oxygen. Therefore, it results in the formation of hydrogen peroxide. And here you can see the reactions, like FADH2 is released in peroxicanes. It's oxidized by the oxygen, but here there is production of hydrogen peroxide, and hydrogen peroxide undergoes the reaction by the catalase enzyme to release the oxygen and the water. Therefore, because the FAD doesn't enter the electron transport chain, therefore it will not generate energy. Therefore, it's definite there is no ADP synthesized in the peroxisomal oxidation of the fatty acids, since the reducing equivalents don't pass through the electron transport chain. So definitely heat will be evolved, heat will be liberated, and it is now believed that the peroxisomes carry out the initial oxidation of long chain fatty acid, which consists of 22 carbons in the fatty acid's backbone. And the early oxidation or the initial oxidation is carried out by the peroxisomes, and later on the normal beta oxidation will be occurs in the mitochondria, or the mitochondrial matrix, like we have discussed for the you can say the even chain fatty acids. Here is the Zellweger syndrome. Zellweger syndrome is the rare disorder which is characterized by the absence of the peroxisomes in almost all the tissues. And as a result, the long chain fatty acids like C26, C38 are not oxidized, because the assumption was given that the very long chain fatty acids are oxidized first by the peroxisomes, and later on they undergo the further oxidation through the mitochondrial matrix. Therefore, they accumulate in the tissues, and particularly in the brain, liver, and the kidney. Hence, the disorder is mainly caused, which is pertained or relate to these tissues like brain, liver, and kidney. And therefore, terminology is given for this type of syndrome is cerebrohepatorenal syndrome, which have the person which have this type of syndrome have malfunctioning of brain, liver, and the kidneys due to the accumulation of the very long fatty acids in its body, which are not in fact oxidized by the peroxisomes. Next is the alpha oxidation of fatty acids. And if there is question, is there any alpha oxidation? Then yes, there is alpha oxidation of the fatty acid along with the beta oxidation. But beta oxidation is the most predominant pathway, and alpha is lesser one. And alpha oxidation must be the removal of one carbon unit at a time by the oxidation of alpha carbon atom of the fatty acid. And alpha oxidation doesn't involve the binding of fatty acid to the coenzyme A, and unless or until you can say the fatty acid is not bound to the CoA, then there is no energy production will be, you can say the yielded energy. Second is the Refsum's disease, and it's the rare disorder, but it's the severe neurological disorder, and it's characterized by the cerebral ataxia. Cerebral ataxia means the person has the very low balance. Its movement of the body, movement of eyes are not the normal. Even the voluntary actions are not under his control. Therefore, the balance of the body you can say is very weak, and therefore the peripheral neuropathy. And the patients of this disease accumulate large quantities of the unusual fatty acid, and this fatty acid is phytanic fatty acid. Here is structure of phytanic fatty acid, that this fatty acid contains its in fact the branched chain fatty acid, and it has branches in the form of the methyl group, and first methyl group is present at the beta position. Therefore, there is problem in the oxidation which should be occur at the beta position. And this photanic acid is derived from the phytol. Phytol means it has the plant origin, and it's the constituent of the chlorophyll, and it's present in the most plant diet, plants food, and it's also present in the milk lipids and the animal fats. It means that if the person takes such type of the food, then there is accumulation of these phytanic acid in its body, and these phytanic acid can't undergo the beta oxidation due to the presence of methyl group on the carbon number 3, and therefore this fatty acid undergo initial alpha oxidation to remove alpha carbon as carbon dioxide, and this is followed by later on by the beta oxidation, and deficiency of enzyme is characterized, and this enzyme is phytanic acid alpha oxidase, and the result is that phytanic acid can't be converted into a compound that can be degraded by the beta oxidation, and the patient will not consume the diets which are based on the chlorophyll, green leafy vegetables like, and therefore there is huge accumulation of phytanic acid in the body, and a person has the very severe neurological disorder. Next is the gamma oxidation of the fatty acid. This is in fact the minor pathway. It involves the steps which are written over here. That the first is the hydroxylation, followed by the oxidation of omega carbon present as the methyl group at the other end, and this reaction requires cytochrome P450, NADPH, and oxygen. And overall reaction may be represented as here that carbonyl functionality is present, intervening methylenic groups, and the terminal methyl group as the omega fatty acid. First is incorporation of OH, and later on its oxidation into carboxylic acid. And here is description for you that the fatty acids have two ends. One is carboxylic acid end, and other is the end which contains the methyl group. Therefore, this terminal end have united with it as alpha carbon, and this last or the other end which contains the methyl group, it is designated as the omega carbon. Therefore, the intervening carbon will be left as CH2N, and this other end carbon will be dealt as the omega carbon, and we will discuss its oxidation and later on its beta oxidation. And such type of oxidation in vertebrates undergoes in endoplasmic reticulum, and therefore the preferred substrate are fatty acids which contains carbon 10 to 12, and first step is the hydroxylation through the omega carbon by mixed function oxidase, and it produces carboxylic acid, and later on it passes through the beta oxidation step. The double-ended fatty acid yield dicarboxylic acid such as succinic acid, and which can enter the citric acid cycle. Here is the pathway that only omega carbon is highlighted. By mixed function oxidase enzyme, there is oxidation of this alkyl group into the alcoholic functionality. Then enzyme alcohol dehydrogenase came, and what it has done over here, it in fact remove this hydrogen. Therefore, hydrogen is removed, and hydroxyl group is changed into the carbonyl. And because the carbon oxygen bond is double, therefore the hydrogen which is present at the methylenic end, it should also be removed. And this hydrogen is taken away by the NAD. And NAD is always written as NADH plus H. And later on, again, alcohol dehydrogenase cause the uh, oxidation or the dehydrogenation. And therefore, this by the dehydrogenation, this functionality is changed into the carboxylic acid one. And later on, series of the beta oxidation occurs to give succinate and the adipic acid, which has the four intervening active methylenic groups. The oxidation of fatty acids and metabolic water. And fatty acid oxidation, even other form of the aerobic respiration, is accompanied by the production of water, and this water is continuously produced in the body by the natural process, and this water is called metabolic water. For instance, when one molecule of palmitic acid is oxidized, it releases 16 molecules of water. And in the body there is not only the one molecule of palmitic acid, we eat number of multiples of the molecule of palmitic acid. Therefore, the multiples of molecules of water are yielded or released in the body. And this metabolic water has a great significance in some animals like camel. Camel can store lipids in its hump because it has to travel long through the desert for long period of time, even without eating any food or the and drink water. Therefore, it utilizes the lipids which are stored in its hump and metabolic water, which is also present in its hump. Like this hump is the full storage of the lipids and the metabolic water. And there is small rat which is called kangaroo rat because it hop like a kangaroo. It's a small animals, and it's also believed to live indefinitely without the water. For many days, it can live without drinking water, and it's consume only oil-rich seeds and the metabolic water produced. It's definitely sufficient for it to meet its energy requirement. It may, however, be noted that the use of the metabolic water is an adaptation, and it's accompanied by reduced output of the urine. Lastly, the synthesis of the lipids in the intestinal mucosal cells. The fatty acids, which are the short chain or the medium chain length, which are the less than 10 carbon containing uh, fatty acids, and after their absorption in the intestinal cell, they don't undergo the modification. Modification means there is no reunion of the fatty acids molecule to give again the long chain fatty acids. Therefore, they enter the portal circulation and transported to the liver in the bound form in albumin. They are bounded to the albumin and therefore taken to the liver. And the long chain fatty acids are activated through the enzyme thiokinase in the intestinal cells. And the acyl CoA derivatives so formed combined with the two monoacyl glycerols to produce the triacyl glycerol back. Like from the triacyl glycerol, there was formation of two monoacyl glycerol. Now the back reactions are going to be occur. Therefore, it is called resynthesis of the lipids in the intestinal mucosal cells. And the enzyme which catalyzes these reaction is called the acyl transferase. And therefore, inside of the intestinal mucosal cells, there is conversion of the cholesterol to the cholesterol ester, like back synthesis from the cholesterol ester during the absorption. But now when there is absorption occurs in the intestinal mucosa cell, the cholesterol is converting back to the cholesterol ester, and the phospholipids are regenerated from the absorbed lysophospholipid. And these newly synthesized lipids, um, they shouldn't be like the fatty acid which was initially absorbed. It means that this reunion may yield a variety of the new fatty acids which were not the part of the once diet. Here is the complete pathway that short chain fatty acids, when you have taken short chain fatty acid in your diet, as such they have absorbed in the intestine as a short chain fatty acid. And through the portal circulation is in fact the connecting veins. They are the, in fact, you can say the additional network of the vessels which are present between the arterial and the venous circulation. And in fact, they are the part of the main blood circulation system as well. And this portal circulation gives these absorbed short chain fatty acid to the liver. And from here, the long chain fatty acids are liberated. Thiokinase enzyme gives again the fatty acyl CoA, and through fatty acyl CoA, acyl transferase again make them as triacylglycerol. The triacylglycerol which we have eaten, again triacylglycerol is going to be synthesized in the intestinal mucosal cell. But here the triacyl functionality is not the same one which you have taken in the food, because there is union of the moieties which are not the same one as it's in the starting material. And cholesterol, acyl transferase, fatty acyl CoA is released and the cholesterol ester is formed. And for the long chain, they are take this pathway. Cholesterol will take this pathway to be part of the chylomicron, and these chylomicron have very important function to give these biomolecules to the lymphatic system, and through the lymphatic system absorbed in the blood, and through the peripheral tissue again carried to the liver. And here is the secretion of the lipids from the intestinal mucosal cells. It means that the lipids which are resynthesized, they are in fact uh, given away or to the mainstream as the chylomicron, and therefore they should be put together, and they are put together as the lipid droplets, and they are surrounded by a thin layer consisting of mostly apolipoproteins and the phospholipids. And the apolipoproteins, they are combinations of lipids, proteins, and they make an important function through the union of these small lipid droplets. And this package of the lipids enveloped in the layer stabilizes in fact the droplets in order to lessen their hydrophobic character. In this way, these particles are regarded as the chylomicron, and they are absorbed, and their solubility is increased to be taken away by the bloodstream. This is all about for today's lecture. And for assignment, you have to do how are the fatty acids released from the adipose tissues, and what are the differences between the fatty acid synthesis and their beta oxidation. Student, if you have any question or query, please email me, or you can text me if you are facing some problem in understanding the lectures. Best wishes.